Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Dev with Excel. Alright, so in this video we shall be solving exercise 3.20, which is the step 8 of the PhoneBook database. So here we are expected to add validation to the PhoneBook application, which will make sure that phone numbers are of the correct form. A phone number must have length of 8 or more, be formed of two parts that are separated by dash. The first part has 2 or 3 numbers, and the second part also consists of numbers. So here we are given valid phone numbers, and also we are given invalid phone numbers. So we are expected to use a custom validation for this second part, right? So of course, we are going to be validating these two, right? So it says if an HTTP post request tries to add a person with an invalid phone number, the server should respond with an appropriate status code and error message. All right, so here is what we can do. Heading over to our VS Code. Um, this is part 3, and here this is the step 8, which is what we are currently on, right? So at this point, step 8 is just a duplicate of step 7, right? The normal way we have been doing this. So I'll simply just cd into step 8 and then do npm run. Now, one thing we need to do in step 8 is we won't be writing anything, we won't be changing the index.js code, right? Because this is okay for now. What we'll be doing is we'll be going into the models to change some things here, right? So just as we validated this name inputs here with the minimum length and the likes, we are going to be doing almost the same thing for number, right? So here we are going to be removing this string here and replacing it with an object. So this object is going to contain some values, right? Some kind of data, right? So we are going to start with the type, which we know should always be there. And we know that we are working with a string for the numbers, right? So we have string for the numbers, and then we want it to be required. So I think we should place required there. We say true. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to use the validate property. So something like this, and inside of it, it contains another object, right? And the object, one of the properties it contains is the validator. And the validator is going to have a function which you can call anything. You can just call it v or validate, right? So we understand that v is for validate, right? So we are trying to write a function here. So we want this function to return the v, which is a parameter, right? Dot length should be greater or equal to 8, right? So we want this to be returned. So let's save this. Let's save this. Now, what we could do is the next we want to now do is when this is like this, when there's a form of error, right? You want a message that is going to say we are going to do something called props like this, and then using the arrow function, and then the string literal, right? Using the backtick, then we do something like this. We say props dot value, right? Which is going to be the input, the number that is input itself, right? We say props dot value is not a valid phone number. Then we can end it with a comma. So having done this, let's test our code to see if it works fine. Okay, we can also test with the front end. Let's test with the back end and also test with the front end. So coming to the back end using the Thunder client, you could just select or click on that icon and then come to this part here. So now you want to make a post request. Let's see if we can post a name called Steven with a number such as this, right? Or let's just remove the dash here. Let's see if this is going to work. It says person validation failed. Number 0819 is not a valid phone number, right? So that means that we've not implemented the necessary code requirement here. But now it says name should be greater than or equal to 8. So let's write a digit that is up to 8 or more than 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 here. Let's send. So all right. So at this point, our program is recognizes this number as a valid number, 1 to 8, right? Even if we add more to it, it's going to accept. Let's say we have Stevenson, it's going to accept this. But if the number is less than 8, it won't accept it. Let's say we have Steve. All right, because this is what we just instructed our application to do, right? We said it should return the parameter, the length of the parameter should be greater or equal to 8, right? If it's less than, it should not send, right? It shouldn't work well. Awesome. Now let's check again to see if there's any other thing we need to work on. Okay, it says be formed of two parts that are separated by dash, right? So when we read this, let's try to use a custom validator. Now, what this simply means is that we need to create something like a regex ourselves. That's a regular expression, right? So to actually do that, you want it to return this and the regex. So we could just use a double ampersand, which is the AND operator here, right? And then we could just start with the regex. Just write the double slash first, and then using the asterisk. Where is the asterisk? Okay, asterisk, yes. Then a slash here. Then we say D 2, comma 3. Now, what this means is that the first part of the number can be a 2 or a 3 digits, right? Which is what we have here. This is a 2 digits or a 3 digits, right? So that's what we have there. And then the next thing we want to do is using a dash next to separate it, right? Because after these 2 or 3 digits, we are expecting a dash, right? Then we do something like this again. We say slash this plus, we have the dollar sign, right? Then we say dot test v. Okay. I hope this works. I hope this works. I hope this works. Okay, so I don't know why it's saying expression expected. Okay, so what I think we can do here is what we can just do here is to just remove this, all right, then we can just place this here, something like this. Let's save this and see if this is valid. Okay, this is not giving us what's, let's comment this out. Oh, I'm sorry, this should not be this should be this sign here. Yes. All right, so let's save this and let's see if that is going to work. All right, so going back to our post request, let's try to post. Let's say we have a name called let's say we have num, right? And let's try to post this. It says parsing validation failed. Okay, let's change the number as well. Let's change it to 12-34567. Let's hit send. It's still failing. Let's give this one more digit. Let's see if it works. Okay, so this is not a valid phone number. Okay, why is that happening? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's add one more digit. Okay, something is wrong. Let's go back to this part of our code. Let's confirm what we've done wrong. I think I must have made a mistake here. Let me save this and let's try this again. Let's take out 2 digits away from this. Let's hit send. Okay, now this is working. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why is this working? This is not supposed to work. Let's go back to what we have here. Let's paste this. This should work. Okay, let's paste this and see if this also is going to work. If it works, then I don't think our code is well written. Let's turn this to Nova. Okay, so I think this is working, right? So it detects that this is not a valid phone number, right? So let's test another one again. Let's check this. This also is not a valid phone number. So let's check with this. Awesome. So I think our code is well written now, right? So let's go back to the instruction and see if there's any other thing we need to do. So it says if an HTTP post request tries to add a person with an invalid phone number, the server should respond with this. Okay, now we've been able to test this using the back end, right? We can as well test this using the front end. So let's run the server for the front end. That's the step 12 of the phone book. So we simply cd into this folder and we do npm run dev, right? So coming to localhost here, let's refresh. Okay, so these are what we actually passed in from the back end, right? Let's see if we can pass in some valid data through the front end. So let's say we have Gordon and Gordon has a number, let's say 12345-678. Let's hit add. So it says person validation field number. This is not valid. It's not a valid phone number. So let's try again using Gordon. It's a valid number now. Let's give 123 dash 456 789 and let's hit add. It says Gordon is successfully added. Awesome. All right, friends. So with this, we've been able to solve exercise. What's the exercise again? Exercise 3.20. And see you in the next video. Bye.